Recovery of an MMO Junkie is an anime that I recently watched and one that I enjoyed a whole lot. The show actually started airing in the fall anime season of last year, but due to being an ignorant American that only speaks English and my extremely short attention span that prefers not having to shift between watching and reading, I watched it using Funimation's streaming app, which only recently finished airing. Keep in mind that it is available to watch on Crunchyroll in the original Japanese if you prefer it that way. Also, I'm not getting paid by either of these services, I just like using them. Anyway, MMO Junkie is a show that follows the life of a 30-year-old woman named Moriyoko Morioka, who has recently left her extremely stressful job and has become a NEET, which stands for No Education, Employment, or Training, in case nobody ever told you what NEET means. Now she spends all of her time playing an MMORPG, which stands for Massive Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game, in case nobody ever told you what an MMO is. Moriyoko ends up creating a hot guy character as her avatar in the game and befriends a cute girl named Lily. The two then go on several adventures together and become close companions, unaware that both of them are playing as opposing genders to their characters and that both of them are huge dorks that fate slowly drives together both online and in reality. Hilarity ensues. To be honest, I'm actually rather surprised at how much I ended up liking this show, especially considering that the genre of romantic comedy is one that I usually stay away from. I do love both comedy and romance in my fiction, but not when they completely dominate the plot. Then again, maybe this only applies to live action works, because I willingly went and saw another anime romance work last year and ended up being one of my favorite films of 2017, so who knows. But while the romance of the two main characters was definitely the show's backbone, it wasn't the only allure of the premise. The other main appeal was watching two main characters overcome their own crippling self-esteem issues and realizing that they were much better than what they gave themselves credit for, something that they eventually realized through their interactions with each other and their friends. It was a nice positive message that anyone dealing with imposter syndrome or a lot of self-doubt in their life can relate to, which is probably why it resonated with me so much. I also really liked how the effect of MMOs on people were handled in this show. Other anime that deal with MMOs like Dot Hack and Sword Art Online tend to focus more on the fantastical aspect of the game opposed to the social element. The ability to go online and fulfill a power fantasy by being a badass warrior is awesome, but the thing that often keeps people playing are the friends that they make along the way. I actually started playing another MMO after so long due to this anime. I picked up Final Fantasy XIV while I was still on sale and have been loving it, if only because of the friendly faces that I've met and the guild that I've joined. I've actually attended an in-game wedding between two of my guild members, and when I bought a room at my guild's house, I suddenly had dozens of people shouting, "Welcome home" at me. Video games, man. When I was in high school, for that matter, I was way into online hangouts. My favorite part of my day was when I got to come home and talk with my online friends, being able to find people that had the same interests as me and grow closer based on mutual anonymous trust and respect. It bothered my parents how much time I spent online because they thought it was unhealthy, but in reality, the happiness that came from hanging out with my online friends actually helped me build more confidence in the real world too. I would honestly say that those were some of the best days of my life, and I wouldn't trade them for anything. Some of my closest friends today are people that I met online all those years ago talking about things like The Legend of Zelda and Metroid. It's especially uplifting if you grew up in the 90s when widespread home internet use was first becoming a thing, when the world was first introduced to the concept of mass, instantaneous communication with anonymous strangers. People weren't quite sure how to react, and after kids started getting approached by pedophiles online, everyone started freaking out and our parents started to believe that anytime we logged onto AOL, there was going to be someone there trying to kidnap and murder us. Nowadays, we're still encouraged to be careful with what information we share online, but there's also a lot more internet common sense, and people are a lot more comfortable with meeting new people and forming bonds with them, just like you would form friendships with people in real life. MMO Junkie takes this message and incorporates it in a way that's not too heavy-handed. When the two main characters start to change, they live up to the person that their friends believe them to be. That is, the person that they are online. They don't give up on playing MMOs or anything like that, but instead recognize that their online self is part of who they are and they don't give themselves nearly enough credit. Going forward, they start to figure out how to balance who they are in the virtual world with who they are in real life. MMOs and online friendships in general are treated in a positive light, but still encouraged to go out and live your life in the real world as well. That's like the fact that the characters are adults with adult problems and are portrayed as having a hard time with things like social interaction and romance. A lot of romance anime deals with teenagers, so it's hard not to look at it and think they're just being a bunch of dumb kids. But when it's adults, it's a friendly reminder that yes, these are adult problems too, because adults are people. We mature, but we don't magically eliminate insecurities. You can be an adult and still be the type of person that's so used to being in an anonymous environment where they don't have to be thinking of what to say on the fly, and being so used to hiding behind a digital face that it becomes difficult when all of that is taken away. It was really adorable to me, but it was never so sugary that it made me feel diabetic. I also like that despite the fact that Moriyoko and Sakurai are playing their opposite genders online, the show never really makes a big deal out of it or uses it to make distasteful jokes. There's a single part in an early episode where Moriyoko wonders if she has a crush on Lily, Sakurai's character, but the idea of being in love with a girl isn't something that really bothers her, just the fact that she has a crush on someone that she's only met online. The genders of the characters online is only used to add to the idea that people can be different online from who they are in real life. And everyone in the game treats playing as the opposite gender being completely normal in an MMO setting. Because it is. All that being said, I wouldn't say the show is without flaws. For one thing, there's numerous side characters that have the potential to be interesting, but for the most part have nothing done with them. The majority of the supporting cast is made up of Moriyoko and Sakurai's guild members in their MMO, but outside of their guild leader, we learn hardly anything about any of them aside from some bare minimum details, like how two of them are actually married in real life, or how it's implied that one of the characters has a crush on the guild leader. And there's a part where the married couple are playing each other's characters, which is funny and cute, but Lila's crush on Kanbei is teased at and then goes absolutely nowhere for the rest of the show's run. We even get a scene where we see her in real life, but it serves no purpose other than to show that, yes, she is a cute anime girl that we can stick on merchandise. The most standout example of this for me, though, is when a previously unintroduced character just shows up halfway through the show as somebody's friend, and everybody just kind of acts like they've always known her the whole time. She then disappears for several episodes before appearing again for one scene in the finale. It was weird, and every time she was on screen I could only think, wait, who's this again? I suppose in the end it's not a big deal because the focus of the show was about Moriyoko and Sakurai's development, and at best the side characters do a good job teasing how not everyone who plays MMOs is a nervous wreck that experiences escapism like Moriyoko and Sakurai do. But it's still pretty annoying when you introduce a bunch of characters, tease at potential development and side plots with them, and then do nothing with them. Also, I gotta say that while it was all building towards character development, the number of times the two main characters lacked the ability to talk about what they were really feeling started to get a little bit silly, to the point where every episode late in the series, I found myself quoting Genie from Aladdin.
Tell her the truth!
So in the end, I highly recommend Recovery of MMO Junkie to anyone that likes a little slice of life anime, especially if you have passed with playing MMOs and making online friends. The show was cute and fun and always made me happy whenever I tuned in to watch it each week. Not only that, but it's not a huge time commitment since it's only 10 episodes long with a single OVA. The show left me wanting more, but not because I felt like anything was unresolved, but because I wanted to see more antics with the main characters that I had grown attached to.